This is the Bears Barroom Radio Network. The following program is recorded live and intended for all audiences.
Radio is scripted now. We just come up with it. We don't use computers. We don't rehearse. We're going to talk about this next. We're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about the Bulls. And then we're going to have Brad Big Son. And then we're going to have all this. No. If you don't know what you're going to talk about in the top of your head before a show, you shouldn't be in the business. I don't know what you got. I feel like Vince Vaughn in a couple's retreat. The Sharks are circling. Old school, baby.
You're listening to the Mike North Advantage, and it begins right now.
That's right. The Mike North Advantage starts right now. I am Aldo Gandia, Mike's wingman. We've got another very special show for you tonight. Why? Because Mike North is going to talk about the Bulls, the Bears, betting, and who knows what else. Oh, we got to talk about Tiger Woods and the unfortunate accident. So we'll probably start with that. Bad news, but let's bring Mike in now. Mike North, how are you, my friend?
Oh, you're a sight for sore eyes, Aldo. Look at you. New glasses.
Yeah.
New glasses?
You like these?
I like them.
Thank you.
You jumped out. You did your job. You did what you had to do. He did what he had to do by giving you the right stuff. And I noticed right away the new glasses. Good luck, my friend. And we're doing great. We got last week we went 1-0-1. We got a push with West Carolina. We won another game. We're 3-1-1 right now, getting ready for another week. And by the way, 25-23 with our brand new sponsor, and hope they'll be with us for a long time. Change your game, change your life with WinDailySports.com. At WinDailySports.com, we provide you with articles, podcast sheets, projection models, lineup optimizers. You got to have optimizers. And our DFS and sports betting expert chat. Okay? Now, you talk one-on-one with our pros, with the pros, as they help you mold winning lineups for your daily fantasy, which I'm on their fantasy show every Saturday on Sirius at 4:15 Central Time. So check that out with my guys, and go to WinDailySports.com and optimize. And we'll show you what will bring you to the top of the leaderboard. Sign up for the free account today at WinDailySports.com. Turn your love of sports into a profit center, ladies and gentlemen. I also have a Twitter show I do with them at 4 o'clock on Thursday. And then we have ESPN 1000 with the odds couple on Friday. And then this great show, which is a staple in podcasting. Every Wednesday, people jumping on. I love the interchange with the chat board and everything else like that, Aldo. So we're doing well. The video's been well received. I love doing the videos. It's always good to see you. Since we'll never see each other again in person, apparently.
That's right.
One guy says 2025, you can take the mask off and take a breath. It's just a beautiful thing, So guys are playing basketball with masks on. I couldn't have done it. I watched high school kids playing basketball with masks on. I would have ripped it off halfway through. I go, I can't breathe. Come on.
I hear you.
Because we were smoking back in the day, 14, 15 years old, to pack us a Marlboro before the big game against Westinghouse.
At least one, right?
Oh, yeah. Publicly,
really
guys. Smoke and then go play Westinghouse. At Westinghouse and then run.
That's right. And for those of you listening on the audio-only podcast, make sure you go to WinDailySports.com, and their Twitter handle is WinDailySports, at WinDailySports. And you can follow Mike, of course, at North2North, and that's the number 2, at North2North. And you can follow me at Bears Barroom. Mike North, we've already got people in the chat room.
By the thousands.
Yeah, by the thousands. Jeremy is saying, nice hat. Of course, and I'm wearing one.
I told Aldo, what kind of money you got for me when we got together? He goes, I don't have any money for you, but I got a hat.
That's right.
And I've always cherished it. I love it. And we're having the time of our lives.
That's
Remember that? I got a hat for you. I go, thanks. Met you at Omega. We had omelets. It was great. And he goes, oh, stepping out for me. Here you go. Hat. And he presented it like it was on a pillow. It was almost on a pillow. It was beautiful.
Right.
I love it.
Oh, my goodness. Mike, let's get through to the bad news first, so that way we can laugh the rest of the show. Not Mike North suffered serious injuries, but Tiger Woods.
We had a couple close calls, but forget about it.
Well, Tiger Woods.
Something's got to be wrong to take that kind of tumble in the middle of the daytime, man.
Oh my goodness! When I saw the video,
I mean, you go across the median strip.
Yeah, look at the car. The car is just totally wrecked. The engine.
He's lucky he's alive.
Yeah, he really, really is. That's what the officers at the scene said, that it was the construction of the internal part of this cabin of the car that really saved his life, and the fact that he was wearing a seatbelt, because that engine landed on his legs, and he's got multiple compound fractures on his legs. He was in surgery for quite some time. And then there's word now that there might be some other things that may need surgical attention, but they wanted to deal with the most serious stuff first. So this is a blow to him personally, and hopefully he can walk and play with his kids and stuff. And do you think we'll ever see him on the golf course competing again?
Well, it depends what they say. They said that nothing's life-threatening. Well, okay, but will he ever walk again?
Right.
I mean, that's the thing. I heard from somebody, one person only, saying the speculation out there is, and he lives out there, is that he won't be able to walk. That we're not hearing everything. Now, that's just him. That doesn't mean he's right. He may be able to walk. He may be able to rehab and everything else. But once again, we don't have a whole lot of information. I found it interesting that the sheriff that got there, the first guy, said that Tiger was your typical guy in shock, but he seemed like he was okay and everything else. And then the sheriff's department said that there was no alcohol, drugs involved. And I'm saying to myself, well, I can understand the alcohol part. How do you know he didn't take drugs? If he's laying there, how do you know?
He's been in a lot of pain with his back. Yeah. So
right. How do you know he didn't take some medicine, black out a little bit? So I found that just uniformly wrong to say there's no drugs involved, because they didn't have somebody on site take a test. Right. So other than that, though, I mean, I'm praying to God that everything's okay for him, because, I mean, let's face it, he won the Masters again. I don't think he's ever going to beat Nicklaus. I do know once he comes out, we'll be hearing that from many people who know nothing about golf, that he's the greatest golfer who ever lived. And you just don't know anything about golf if you're saying that, because Jack Nicklaus easily is.
You think easily, huh?
Well, 18 majors in 19 seconds. That's 37 first or seconds. That's unbelievable. And Snead's got as many wins as Tiger, but I know Tiger was a better golfer than Snead. Right. I'm willing to say Tiger's the second greatest. But when there's another guy alive and ticking, and he's got 18 majors, and Tiger was the one who said, I measure the greatest by majors, right? And he didn't do it, then that's just the way it is. Now, that being said, I hope he's okay. I think he's been a great role model coming back, but there's still a lot of stuff that we don't know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when you say coming back, that's obviously from the injury, but also he had some personal issues. And his popularity or his image really took a hit with some personal issues that he went through, but he made a tremendous comeback. He won the Masters 2 years ago. He was training to try to come back for the Masters, but his back was giving him problems. And that's another huge thing about whether he's going to come back or not, is that he's had 5 surgeries on his back alone. He's had multiple other surgeries. So rehabbing from this very serious leg injuries that he's had, on top of the back injury, you got to wonder if he's ever going to swing a club on the tour again.
You got to wonder if he can walk straight. I mean, you know what? Let's just be honest about this. I want him to play it again, but, being perfectly honest, I don't think he will. I think he's done. He was done already. He wasn't going to play in the Masters. He had surgery. Now what happened to his back?
Right.
In this accident.
Yeah.
What happened now? Now there's more stuff involved.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the last thing you wanted to see. Daytime running, getting to a TV shoot.
Yep.
You go over a median strip and you're not impaired, according to what the police said. That's so bad, so freaky. Lucky he's alive. It looks more level from the shot that you had, Al.
Right.
Because it looked like the way they shoot it from the helicopter was in a ravine.
Right.
It was to the side of the road, but I mean, my God, there's stuff hanging out, stuff hanging on the side of the road. It's crazy, man. So I'm glad he's alive. That's so that, and I'm sure everybody else is too, and I'm sure he is.
Yeah, and apparently the police say that this is a high traffic accident area because it does kind of incline and people tend to speed. TMZ put up some video of
Yeah, but he's on the other side of the road. You see that?
Yes.
What you just rode there?
Yes.
He didn't just fly off the side of the road from that side.
Right.
He went across the middle.
Yeah.
Lucky there was nobody coming.
Right. The car is facing south and he was going north.
Right.
Oh,
And it goes across where the trees are.
right.
He's lucky somebody didn't get killed besides him being injured badly.
Yeah, that's
So let's hope he's okay, man. But I don't think I know Ben Hogan got his legs crushed by a Greyhound bus back in the day, and then he came back and won.
That's right.
But Ben Hogan, okay, that happened with him, and this is going to be a severe test. We still don't know his status though, as far as the things he will be able to do and things he won't. There's still very sketchy stuff coming out. I'm hoping it's all positive coming out from them.
By the way, who played Ben Hogan in the movie?
Ford.
I thought I was gonna get you.
Ron Ford was great in it too. It's an underrated movie. The Ben Hogan was a gem. The man became so great at golf club making when we were kids. Ben Hogan was huge, and it wasn't even for golf. It was all clubs and his expertise, and you could buy his brand at local stores like Sears and other places. So he was huge.
Yep, he sure was. Tooch in the chat room and is already asking for gambling advice. Iowa Tooch, the Tooch.
My guy Tooch. Yeah, Tooch. We had a tough one last night, 1-2. But I tried to explain on Twitter today, because you're going to have losing days, you're going to have winning days. But see, I went 1-2. If I go 0-3, that makes my record this week 1-4. By winning that game with Detroit, that's a huge win for me. It's 2-3. That's a 2-game swing. 2-3 sounds a lot better.
Yep,
than 1-4. So we're right there knocking on the door, Tooch. You got to wait till the end of the show. I got one big pick for tonight.
Woo! Can't wait to hear that.
Surprise for everybody, Tooch. Just stay tuned.
Around Tooch and everybody else will get to the end of the show.
Tooch has been hot. Tooch has been good, picking some good college games too. God bless you. I'm glad people are getting involved with this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let's talk a little bit about NFL free agency, because we're in that period now where everybody is speculating about whether the Bears should sign Allen Robinson. Well, let's start there. Let's start with, should Allen Robinson be tagged so that the Bears can potentially work out a long-term agreement but secure his rights with the Chicago Bears? There are all of these different tag allotments and so forth. There's the exclusive, there's the transition, there's the non-exclusive. We can get into that if you want, but the general question is, Rob, tag him or not tag him?
Well, first of all, you had that question up on Bears Barroom the other day, pal.
Yes, exactly.
And what's the transition tag? Tell everybody that, because I pressed that because it had the least amount. I said, whatever that is,
yes,
it might be good enough for the Bears to buy some time.
Exactly. Let me put it up on the screen as well. Let me hold on it just here. We'll scroll it. We'll put the transition tag, and then what it is, it's a 1-year tender offer for the average of the top 10 salaries at the position. That's what they did with Kyle Fuller. They said, Kyle, we're going to put a transition tag on you, and then they waited the amount of time, and right at the end, the Green Bay Packers.
And somebody matched that. They matched it.
Exactly. And so then the Bears had the right to match it or not, and they did, and Kyle Fuller has proven to be a good signing, because he's
so is Robinson. It's a tough thing, but I think Robinson wants to know what's going to happen to Mitch. That's what I think he wants to know. Well, if he finds out Mitch ain't coming back and he's got to go with Foles, I think he's going to want out. I do.
Exactly.
I think it's bad news for the Bears. You don't hear anything about them. You at least see all the quarterbacks listed. I mean, how is the national media ignoring Mitch Trubisky? I mean, it is a conspiracy beyond my belief that the Chicago media and the national media don't even list. I mean, shows on TV, they list quarterbacks that aren't even as good as him. I mean, the talk today was about Wentz again. I'm watching Get Up with Greeny.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm watching him, and I'm hearing that Wentz is going to do something. He's got pressure on him after Phillip Rivers getting them to the playoffs.
Yeah, right.
And apparently the people on that show maybe missed last year, and they want to go back like they did with Foles to 2017. Somebody wants to go back to 2017. No, let's talk about last year when he couldn't complete a 6-yard in pattern or an out. I mean, how do you even say that? And then the same panel says, Steelers are going to struggle with Big Ben, but Wentz is going to lead them to the promised land. Are people losing their minds? Did you watch the games? I don't care if you played in the NFL. You don't know about the NFL like I do. Did you watch the games? How the hell do you say Wentz is going to lead? Phillip Rivers, I think if Phillip Rivers wanted to come back last year or this year, they don't even go after Wentz.
Right. Yeah. I agree. I mean, that whole conversation about Carson Wentz.
Did you hear that?
And he beat
nonsensical. I mean, God bless. I love Greeny, but come on, get a hold of your people.
Well, you know,
get them around, gather them around, and say you're not making any sense right now.
Well, let's take a look at Allen Robinson's stats. When he came to the Bears his first season, he was coming off that ACL injury, so he only had 55 catches for 754 yards and 4 touchdowns. Then he followed that up with 98 catches.
I didn't want him at first.
I know you didn't. I
love him.
You wanted a more established veteran who had a longer track record. But
I think he wants out, though, if Mitch don't come back.
Yeah, well, you know that
does he want to play with Foles again or with somebody else? I mean, we don't even know who. I think he looks like Foles. I saw Olin Kreutz tweeted out last week. You know, they had a timeline of all the quarterbacks that the Bears supposedly been after, from Mariota, to Winston, to everybody else. And they had January, February, all the Wentz, all this nonsense, right? And Olin basically tweeted in, and in August, no, Foles will basically be your starter. And if that's the case, we won't make the playoffs. So just get ready, Bear fans. You wanted this. The media wanted this. You got a mess. And by the way, for the folks that the message is that both needed a fresh start, Aldo, I would ask you this. Didn't Nagy go for that fresh start after the Atlanta game? Don't give me the crap. Both need a fresh start. Mitch wants out, period, folks. And Candy, he don't want nothing to do with him. He got stabbed in the back, period. He's gone.
Yep.
And now we're in trouble for the next 5 years.
Right. The last Chicago Bear to be tagged, Alvarez, was Kyle Fuller at that cornerback position, as mentioned earlier. Jeremy is asking that, is saying that Trubisky will go to New England and win a Super Bowl. What are your thoughts on that?
I would say this. I want to prop that up there. I want to know if somebody would take this. Maybe Vegas will do this. I don't know. Maybe my friends Paulie and Mitch on Visson will do this. They like to do the betting and the stuff like that. What's the prop bet for Mitch to make the playoffs and the Bears not next year?
That would be good.
What's that prop bet? Yeah. Set the odds up at that. Let's see if we could get something like that up. What kind of odds would you give? Because I think it's realistic that Mitch is going to go to a playoff type of contender where they need maybe another piece and a quarterback, or maybe. And I think he's going to be a starter next year. For everybody that says he can't read a defense, somebody said that again the other day. I want some proof of that. You can't put up the stats he has without being able to read a defense. It's literally impossible in the National Football League if you can't read a defense. I want everybody to listen to this and look at those stats that he has. And if he can't read a defense, then he's the greatest quarterback who ever lived, because he doesn't know how to read a defense and he's still riddling them. I don't know what else I can do here. I mean, it's crazy.
Where's your level of dislike for Matt Nagy?
Terrible. What he did, and for the media to go along with it, what he did to Trubisky. Well, it doesn't surprise me. Half the people in the media, you got to remember, I know most of them. They throw their mother over to get a 10-cent raise. So, yeah, they throw her into the water off a bridge to get a 10-cent raise. Most of these people, they got the loyalty of a gnat who's about to be stepped on. So,
and you and I haven't talked at length about the problem that the Bears are facing. These guys are lame ducks, Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy, right?
Well, Pace may not be. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Look at the rest of his draft picks. See, the quarterback thing, I blame more on Nagy. I blame it more on Nagy. Because if Nagy would have said, I like Trubisky, we never go through this. And why don't you like Mitch Trubisky? What is it about you that you don't like a guy like that everybody says in the locker room? Darnell Mooney says the other day, he's a man. We love him. How are you getting rid of this guy? You're going into camp with Nick Foles and a rookie quarterback probably, and some scrub off that you picked up off the free agent wire. Unless you get and they weren't going to get Watson. And thank God they didn't get Wentz. I mean, thank the Lord. My God, that's worse than a lateral move.
That's right.
That is worse. I mean, the nonsense I've been hearing. And, I just listen to everybody and I'm in the same spot I was last year.
Mm-hmm.
I want Mitch to be the starter, and he will be. And he was.
Yeah.
After he made it, after he beat the guy out, then they benched him after the third game. But they both need a fresh start? My ass.
Yeah.
I know it's one-sided more than the other.
Right.
That I know.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
He's been such a class act and quiet. He could burn Nagy to the ground if he wanted to. And maybe he will after he signs somewhere else, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
I think he's going to move on and go, I got stuck with a piece of shit coach, and he tried to ruin my life and my career. That's basically what he got stuck with, a piece of crap coach like that.
Yeah. Have you seen those photographs of Mitch and his fiance? I mean, he looks really happy right now. He is not at all perturbed.
He believes in his everybody believes in his talent. We don't know if he's going to lead anybody to a Super Bowl, but Rex Grossman went to a Super Bowl. But this nonsense that he can't lead anybody somewhere, he already has. He brought us back for the playoffs. The bias against him's been breathless. It really has. Mm-hmm. I don't know. He's one of the best Bear quarterbacks I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And if anybody wants to debate me on that, go ahead. Mm-hmm. He don't need that piece of shit to work. He don't need a coach like that. He needs to get out.
Merv is saying that Mitch is all class and would never outwardly say anything negative about anyone. It's just not.
While Nagy just kicks people under the bus. And you notice all the coaches that are gone. Mm-hmm. A lot of coaches gone. They don't want to be around with one year left.
That is the huge problem.
And then they have to bring in this other guy to be you told me. Well, he's been there for 13 years, since 2013, the defensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. Now we got to bring in Pettin to help him?
to oversee him, right?
Right? To oversee him? I mean, how bright is the guy? Who brings in somebody like that? It's crazy.
It is nuts. So it's going to be interesting to see.
That is the new defensive coordinator. They just jumped the gun.
So? You think so? You think that?
I think they jumped the gun. If he's in the room and he's the senior advisor, he's the new guy.
Yeah. Tooch is saying that Ryan Pace does great at drafting between rounds 4 and 7.
What did Roquan Smith going? First round, right?
First round. He was the 7th overall pick, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, he signed Mac. I mean, I think we'll look at Nagy and see that he caused the quarterback thing. Mm-hmm. And the mistake that Pace made was believing him. But the other draft picks, from Eddie Jackson to Keepin Fuller to Mac.
Tariq Cohen.
Yeah. He's been pretty good. Mm-hmm. One of them or both of them will be gone after next year. They'll be 6 and 10.
6 and 10.
If they don't sign Mitch. What are you going to bring in another quarterback, our third different quarterback in 3 years? Trubisky, Foles, and now somebody else?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I got to say that those guys on ESPN have been saying that there's still a chance that Deshaun Watson could come to the Chicago Bears. They're saying that Ryan Pace, because he is on this, he and Nagy are in a kind of a prove-it year. They want to sell the entire farm to get it.
And set us back even more.
That would be the problem because you look at Deshaun
Watson. You're going to trade Roquan Smith, one of the best linebackers in football?
That would be really wild.
For a quarterback that we already made, to get a quarterback, we already made the playoffs with the guy we got. We need other things. The other day on Twitter, they said they had 4 different positions: quarterback, offensive line. Well, offensive line won over quarterback. Offensive line. Who do you want drafted first? Mm-hmm. Quarterback didn't get picked. The offensive line.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We need a skill position receiver, a backup running back, 2 offensive linemen, maybe get a little younger on defense, and we're fine. Mm-hmm. We'll make the playoffs next year. You get rid of Mitch, we're not making the playoffs. I've been right about almost everything so far since I've been on the show. I'm wrong about a couple things, but so far, including the mess that we have with Mitch, I thought it was laughable that grown people thought Foles was better than Mitch.
Yeah.
Grown, experienced talk show hosts, writers, media people, grown-ass men and women said, Nick Foles is better than Mitch Trubisky. I went to Northwestern. Jesus Christ. Oh, that was about this. And everybody go. And then you got guys that have wanted 5 different quarterbacks. How do you have any credibility?
Yeah, right.
I want Wentz. I want Wentz. I want Watson. I want Watson. You know who's available? Mariota. There's a couple guys that change with the wind. And they wonder, I wonder if they believe me. Come on. Come on, guys. The plan. What's the plan if Mitch don't come back? You're the one that started this whole Bears barroom. You are the guru. You are the godfather of the barroom, my friend. Tell me what the plan is when nobody would say what the plan was, even though they wanted to get rid of Mitch. Who does something like that and has no backup plan?
Right.
Has no plan.
Right. I think
the media.
I think that what Ryan Pace is doing right now is he's got his list of veteran quarterbacks on free agency that he's going to target or target via trade. So he's got Derek Carr.
They got full sign for another $10 million, man.
Yeah, well, yeah, but
why isn't he gone? Why wasn't he cut?
Because you need a quarterback next season.
Well, that's what we wanted. So we're going back to the scene of the crime.
That's right.
Unbelievable, man.
Well, one of the trade scenarios out there is the Bears trading 3 first-round picks, Roquan Smith, and the new cornerback who was a rookie last year, Jalen Johnson. So 2 defensive starters and 3 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson.
We won't win for 5 years.
we become the Texans, right?
You get rid of Roquan Smith, you're out of your mind. I mean, I understand that we spend a lot of money on. Get rid of Mac. Why we got to get rid of him? Get rid of Mac. Why doesn't anybody want Mac? Or are the Bears saying we don't want to give him up? I mean, come on. I mean, Roquan Smith's a stud. He was the best linebacker on that team.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I think he was better than Mac. I do.
Absolutely.
I keep hearing how many tackles he's had over the last 5 years. Well, did somebody knock on the door? If you would have knocked on my door, every time I saw Mac make a tackle on TV last year, I wouldn't have been woken up much. Okay. I didn't hear his name on a constant basis. He had a great game every second or third game. Did he enthrall you with his play? I thought Roquan Smith was the best out of all the guys last year. I don't want to get rid of him.
No doubt about it. And
what about those first-round picks? I understand if you're picking 20th. You won't be picking 20th after you give up those. You won't be picking 20th.
No.
After next year.
You'll be picking.
You'll be down, and then we won't have any, and then we won't have no picks.
That's right. That is right.
We'll be 6-10 with Watson. If Watson went 4-11 with 4-12 with J.J. Watt, what the hell is he going to do with the key mix?
That is the big question. Because
come on, he wants to go from one. And by the way, him and Mitch are buddies. You don't think he knows what's going on here? I haven't heard Watson once say, I think he teased us once with a tweet. But he's been quiet, and he may still go back to Texas.
Yeah.
He may still go. They may figure something out. That's what the Bears should be doing, Els. They should be trying to patch this thing up. But I don't think Mitch wants to.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he wants a fresh start.
I think the understanding is the fresh start that everybody's talking about for both. No, the coach smells like a turd. He wants out.
Scott Hall makes a good point about the 1985 Bears. The punky QB had a 56% quarterback rating, which is 10 points or more, 20 points lower than Mitch Trubisky's.
You know, Mitch Trubisky, on a minimum of 50 starts, was on Twitter today. Nobody ever tells anybody this. Is the only quarterback that's never thrown a pick six. Never.
Is that right?
Yeah, only.
Wow.
Only. And we're dropping the guy. Like he's a complete idiot. It's ridiculous.
All right. Well, nobody's dropping the Chicago Bulls right now because they're doing okay. Now, they're not beating the best teams in the league. They've beaten the Rockets and the Kings. They lose against the 76ers, but they beat the Pistons and Pacers. They lose against the Clippers. They beat the Pelicans. So you see a trend there. They're beating teams that are at 500 or worse and losing against teams that are better than 500. But what is your assessment overall in the Chicago Bulls? And they got a game tonight. They're playing the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight.
Who stink, by the way, and they got rid of the coach's Flip Saunders' son, and people going, boy, that was sort of abrupt and stuff like that, and they brought in somebody else. My question was, okay, the guy died. Why is his son the next in line? Was this a monarchy? I never liked that hire of Flip Saunders' son. I didn't understand it. I thought that was I go, what? The coach dies, so his kid automatically gets the job? I mean, come on. I didn't like that. I'll be straight up, and I'm sorry about the loss.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But I love the Bulls. I love what Levine's done.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think he's a 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'd be even a better player than he is if he scored less.
Mm-hmm.
And he's getting better defensively. But his stats are, somebody tried to compare him to Jordan. You just can't. You just can't. It's just a different era. He'd never do this in the 90s with Malone and Ewing. And, he'd never do it. I'm just telling you. Or the 80s. I saw it with my own eyes. Lambeer. You think Lambeer's going to let Zach LaVine? You think he's going to let him do this? You think any of these guys, the bad boys, the Knicks? But that being said, for our day and age now, he's unbelievable. He's been great.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He's driving to the basket and he doesn't get the foul.
There's nobody there.
That's right. It's total open.
Watch. He drives to the basket. In the old days, he's gone.
Very
great shot. But in the old days, you drive in the middle. Look at what happened to Rambis. They threw him in the stands. Mm-hmm. They threw Iverson into the seats. see, I look at that Trae Young kid. He's a little skinny little kid.
Yeah.
Do you know if they had the old rules in the 70s? He averages he has 40-point games. I'm telling you now, if Van Leer guards him the whole game, he never gets 20.
No,
never.
We just got a nice.
Van Leer would abuse that kid. He would have been injured after his first or second year. This kid, but now they drive. Nobody guards anybody.
Mm-hmm. Just
Van Leer against Trae Young, they crap bigger than him. Are you kidding me? Look at those defensive players back then. That's why LeBron is still great. He don't take the beating that Jordan. LeBron has never taken the beating that Jordan took.
For sure. There's no doubt.
They intentionally tried to hurt him.
Mm-hmm. They
tried to put him out of the game.
Yep. Exactly. By the way, nice compliment by Don't Copy My Style. He says, just wanted to let you guys know the back blocks of Chicago love you guys.
I'm the mayor of the back blocks. Are you kidding me? Third and Eberhard. I go Roseland, Inglewood, Rogers Park, Albany Park, Humboldt Park. I know them all.
I love it.
You know what? If Mayor Lightfoot ever needs a tour of the city, because she wouldn't know how to get to Inglewood, I'll be happy to take her.
That's right. By the way, Zach LaVine is the first Chicago Bull to make it to the All-Star game since Jimmy Butler in 2007.
So the trade worked.
Yeah. So the trade has worked. I think so. The
trade worked out. Jimmy Butler is good with Miami, but he's not had a down year. But the trade worked.
Mm-hmm.
Who made that trade? Bring Pax back. Bring Pax back.
That's right.
How dare they?
That's right. Well, that is interesting. That was John Pax's probably best deal as general manager.
Well, you know what? The best deal. It shouldn't be hard to find 2 or 3 of the best deals. He did a couple nice things.
Yeah.
Markin and I like him as a draft pick. He just can't stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That's not Pax's fault. They saw the kid. I liked him when they got him.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that Paxson did was not bad, but most of the things he did were not beneficial to the team. That's all. He had a lot of years. Now, here's what I'm proposing. Now, you know my guy Chuck Swirsky, right?
Oh yeah.
Chuck, I followed Chuck in the 80s. Okay. Mm-hmm. Chuck had a little edge to him back then, if you remember. WDI, Chuck, different guy.
He's a guy now. Guy in the world now.
This guy, you can't. I like the guy. Okay. And he does this dance. So we already know that Chuck's already a homer. Okay. And that's great. We don't mind homer announcers. We've always had them. From Harry to but we got to get Chuck a new dance. Okay. But here's what I propose. Now, Chuck is hilarious, and I love his videos, and I love him dancing. I'm proposing that everybody send Chuck, because he's such an ambassador for the Bulls.
Yeah.
That when we get above 500, we all do the twist. We do a video of the twist and send it to Chuck, and then Chuck's got to do the twist. What do you think?
I like the idea.
Yeah. Do the twist. Get rid of this thing. What is that? Huh?
I have not
to do the fruit.
I have not seen that. I'm trying to find it, but I can't.
Oh, you haven't seen any of his videos after a victory?
No.
Check the other night.
I
love it.
I have not.
I go. It's so Chuck. It is. We got to get the twist back. You'll see it. Look up somebody's Twitter. Look up Chuck Swirsky's Twitter feed. Bulls
at Chuck Swirsky.
Yeah, look it up. I'll wait. You get it up, and then we can have a few. Because Chuck is great. He's hilarious.
I can't find him. It's not popping up right away.
It isn't Chuck Swirsky,
and I follow him. Oh, here it is. He's got a weird
CTS Bulls or something.
Yeah, exactly. See, Chuck Swirsky, who is, for those of you who don't know, the radio voice of the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, I don't hear much because I watch on TV, but I like him. He dances when they win. Yeah. We should have a ceremony when we lose.
That's right.
If we put our head in cold water or something. I don't know.
Let me. I found one of the dances here.
Right.
So let me put it up.
We just have Chuck do it. It's great.
It's pretty funny.
It is.
Oh, here it comes.
Here we go. Right, if he's on a street corner, he's being arrested. Look at him. I love him.
What is he doing?
Yes.
Chuck, I love you.
It's bad almost every time, but it's so good.
Exactly.
You see why I want the twist?
I don't know.
We'll do that after they get 500 for Chuck.
Chuck Swirsky, I love you. He is. He's one of those legends behind the microphone, and he does a great job calling the Bulls.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. Speaking of good, what about the Brooklyn Nets? Holy cow. Even with Kevin Durant, they look like the best team in the NBA. They are red hot. And the Lakers right now are suffering without their lead player, AD, Anthony Davis.
I think he was as valuable as LeBron was last year.
Exactly.
If you remember. I go, how are they just deciding? And this year, how are they deciding LeBron is minus 130 to win the MVP?
Mm-hmm.
Who? Every time he goes to a team and somebody great comes over, he's the MVP because maybe he brings them over. But I told everybody, in fact, I told Carmen DeFalco on the odds couple last week, I said, let me tell you something. We'll see where and we were talking to Luke Pergandi from Prop Swap. And, you have futures betting with Prop Swap. And everybody was asking about the MVP. And I simply said, now that Davis is out, I'd wait a month and judge LeBron later. And since that time, they've lost 4 out of 5.
Oh, wow.
Now, tonight's an interesting game. But LeBron, the other night, 7 for 21. He will not win MVP. Jokic could win it. He's getting a lot of attention.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm not a Doncic guy right now, a Doncic guy from the Mavericks. They won last night.
On his last-minute shot, his last-second shot, right?
Yeah, but you know what? He always gets 40, but, it looks like Dirk again. He's by himself. They're not going to be all that. He's got, Cuban, get some people around him. Find some people. So I like Jokic and Curry. Steph Curry put on a show last night. He changed the whole game. He came in when LeBron was in his prime and stole his heart and won 3 championships. I don't know why everybody keeps patting. I think Steph Curry's an MVP candidate. I think Harden's an MVP candidate. I think Jokic is an MVP candidate. I don't think Doncic will get one because of their record. And I don't think LeBron, by the time it's all said and done, will get it either.
Well, you think so, huh?
Anthony Davis, without them, he's 26. Wait, how is a guy that averaged 26 points and 10 rebounds a game and 50% from the field? And everybody goes, well, he's okay, but LeBron, how about him? No, this guy plays center. And by the way, Jokic plays center and is putting up numbers that guards put up.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So it's going to be interesting. I got the pick for the Laker game later for everybody.
Oh, awesome.
You just going, thank God I thought he forgot.
Tooch, by the way, is saying that he is taking the Bulls -3 against the T-Wolves tonight. I think that's a good bet against this Wolves team that has been suffering. I think the Bulls going into that game -3 could pull that out. I like that. And it's interesting.
Yeah, let me look at this, what I got in that game.
Yeah. So
Up at 4 in the morning handicapping because I don't like to go 1 and 2. Okay.
the over-under is 227 on that game, so I'm not sure about over there.
I'm not completely crazy about over and unders, to be honest with you, Elds.
Yeah, I noticed that about you.
I never do those.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the Bulls tonight. It's a mixed bag, man. It really is. It's a mixed bag, which is pretty tough. I mean, the Bulls, you don't know what they're going to do. I'd probably Tooch you know what? Ride with Tooch.
Let's ride with Tooch. Yeah.
Tooch gets down when he has a loss. I go, Tooch, get ready. And then you got to put your record. I mean, I put my record down. So I teach. I that's what I've decided. That's why we picked up clients. That's why we're doing much better. That's why you got to give Win Daily Sports and Bears Barroom and Aldo Gandia a follow, and North to North. Because when you see Bears Barroom, Win Daily, AM 1000, you're in a position now where you might get a free pick, and we're above 500. Here we're above 500. Big time, 60-some% at odds couple, and we're above 500 right now at Win Daily Sports. So, I mean, I don't want to hear about your second job. You can make money while watching TV. That's my point.
I love it. Why should I be the only one making money?
Why am I the only one making the money here? Why is that? Why? Bye, honey. Where you going? I'm going to the. I gotta go early to clean the relish trays at Subway. No, you can make more money here. You're gonna lose sometimes. People don't understand. You lose when you gamble. That's why they call it gambling.
That's right. Exactly.
Come on.
All right.
Look at the Timberwolves. How bad they are. 7-25. Wow.
Oh my gosh, that is.
Well, they've lost Wiggins. They had Garnett. Remember, they had Sprewell. Nothing's up. They still got Ricky Rubio who can play, but he's just happy to collect the check. He comes from Spain, and he goes, "You believe they pay us this?" You know what I mean?
That's right.
That's all. He has his hair in a ponytail and just glides across the floor. He's wonderful.
That is so true. I asked people if they've got any questions for you, and Sanasi Project, what is your favorite Greek home restaurant?
Oh. Well, Omega's not really, it's Greek, but it's a breakfast place on golf, okay? I used to like to go to Greek Town.
Yeah.
But I used to love when me and B in the 70s and 80s, we lived on the northwest side. We used to go to a place, and I still will always love it. Central Gyros. It was on Central and Belmont. I don't know if it's still there in Sparta. A lot of Greek places up there by then, but also, the Greek Isles, those places will always be big in Greek Town.
Yep.
I love Greek. Like Little Italy in Greek Town. You walk around the block and you're done. I mean, basically, you know what I mean? It's not like it's a metropolis or anything,
That's right.
But that's how they all are. It's beautiful. And you find a few Greek restaurants. And there used to be a place in Wheeling that I liked that was Greek. I can't remember the name of it now. But, yeah, Greek food, Saganaki.
What about, you ever eaten at the Athena Greek restaurant on South Hall Street?
Yes. Ate there. Yeah. I mean, it was good. Greek food. I love Saganaki. I love gyros. I always love gyros. Gyros was like a new discovery when we were kids. We didn't have gyros.
That's right. Gyros.
We called them gyros. Some guy came in my hot dog stand one time and he says, "Give me a gyro." I go, "We don't have gyros." Oh, but we have Italian beef. He goes, "That's what I'll have, one of those Italian beefs."
I didn't know you served beef too. You're known as a hot dog guy.
Yeah, we didn't have gyros.
Didn't have gyros.
We didn't have gyros. It's an Italian Irish thing. We didn't have gyros, and plus it's too much. I didn't want to be doing this.
Yeah, I'm told that I'm echoing a little bit. So if that is still continuing, let me.
I'm not though.
Yeah, no, you're coming in perfect.
You have YouTube on again? Maybe you didn't shut YouTube off.
No, I turned it off, so I don't know what's going on. But don't copy my style. Mike, do you think the Bears will go after Kenny Galladay of the Detroit Lions instead of franchising Allen Robinson? Kenny Galladay, the young wide receiver from the Lions who comes from Northern Illinois University, I believe, if I remember correctly. Big, tall guy, a little speedier than A-Rob. He would be a great catch, but he has suffered some injuries. Galladay has, and
So let me get this straight. We'd lose Robinson and Trubisky.
and go
Like
with
70% of our offense. 70% of our offense. It's not bad enough, but we're going to take our quarterback and we're going to get rid of our best receiver. We're going to be like Granny. We're going to be with Jeffro and Granny like this. And then we're going to be looking at Nick Foles throwing to Miller.
Jeez.
And Mooney will no longer have that protection that A-Rob gives him by running the intermediate
Right.
group and taking on some double teams.
Exactly. Mooney will be double teamed left and right because he's got
He'll
that.
be destroyed.
Right.
He was almost killed this year.
Yeah.
You know, he's a little guy. He won't last long anyway. He
Right.
won't.
Well, that's
And Miller, if Miller had come along, I think they'd feel more comfortable.
Mhm. Oh, for sure.
Listen, Eldo, it's going to be a disaster if we don't bring back the quarterback. I'm telling you, just like I told you with McCann, it always comes full circle. With the White Sox and McCann, I said they better sign him. And then we found out they picked up Grandel. We lose McCann, who was better. I don't care what they say about Grandel. I think, okay, if he can hit, that's fine. But we had to go pick up a defensive catcher for a reason. And LaCroix is going to get the bill done. That's fine. I'm anxious to see what our guy does in New York. Okay. And maybe he won't be that good. Maybe the White Sox made the right call. But, we'll see what happens. Every time we get rid of somebody, he comes back to haunt us. We're getting rid of one of the best Bear quarterbacks in the history of the franchise. Now, that might be like me being valedictorian of my summer school class, but that's beside the point. He still is. And we're going to get rid of him. He has a higher quarterback rating than Jay Cutler had, than McMahon had. It's insane. I can't believe what's going on here. But then, like I said in Twitter last week, I heard from one person that says, it's never going to happen. And it's not because of Nagy.
It's because Mitch.
Well, now, don't you think you and I could talk it out and say to him,
oh, of course.
I think you can make some people never patch. Look, there's things we all wish we could patch things up from the past, and it never comes around. This is one of these deals where it could set the franchise back. People are laughing right now. Wait till next year. And I don't want to hear anybody complain. Whoever quarterbacks, the Bears are 2-4. Why'd we get rid of Mitch? I don't want to hear it. I want to hear it. That's all I'm saying. Don't come to me. I didn't want to do it. Period.
Well, one guy that we got rid of and hasn't come back to haunt us, at least not lately, is
I thought. Why don't we bring Johnny Morris back too?
Alshon Jeffrey, King Pookie.
I'd rather have Johnny Morris.
Yeah,
Johnny's like 76 or something.
Alshon Jeffrey back. So, Mike,
You want him back?
No, hell no.
Bring back Johnny. Bring back Willie Gault, for God's sake. Find somebody, anybody. The Bears, they get rid of people all the time. Wilbur Marshall. They got rid of the best, at that time, the best linebacker in football. So can they get rid of Roquan Smith? Oh, yeah. Would it surprise me? No.
Yeah. Holy Samurai Jerusalem says the Mitchell Trubisky era is all but over. Mitchell doesn't want to come back, and the Bears have thrown him under the bus way too many times.
Mitch doesn't want to come back. That's almost. Mitch doesn't want to come back. They need a fresh start. No, Nagy went with the fresh start after Game 3 last year. That burned the house to the ground. And Mitch kept his poise during the whole time.
If the Bears get into a problem, they could transition tag Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, well, if I was Nagy, that's what I would do if I want to keep my job. You go somebody different, you're starting over, or you're going to go with Foles. You're never going to the playoffs with that scenario. So I don't know. Maybe they pick up Watson. Now, if they do that, the argument's over. But Watson seems to be in. Wasn't it 3 weeks ago he was going to be gone?
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Wentz was way after him. And they cut that deal. I think Houston wants him. They're going to try to work it out, which what I said they should try to do with Mitch, but he can't read defenses, so time to go.
Well, the tag window lasts until March 9th, so the Bears have until March 9th. So we probably won't see any action.
Well, they're going to talk March 2nd. Nagy, I heard yesterday that they're going to talk Nagy and Pace March 2nd. Somebody said on Twitter yesterday.
They're going to talk to the media.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Great. Can't wait for that. That'll be another snooze fest. They won't do
they're busy BSing. Nagy is one of those guys that he thinks ahead of what now he's got to do to cover his ass. That's what he does.
Yep. The Badge says, I don't blame Mitch at all. It's a dumpster fire.
Oh, yeah. Badge is right. Ryan's right. Good show, by the way, Ryan. Watch some of them the other night.
Yeah. Boy, if you saw
Ryan. You know what I'm on? There's a lot of guys with beards. A lot of guys with beards.
That's right.
We're right. Look at him. Probably the nicest guy in the world. I'd have him collect money with me. Look at him. The beard makes you look.
That's right. This guy hasn't paid me for my.
Probably the nicest guy in the world too.
But you should have heard Badge. You may have on Barfly Tailgate Show Sunday morning. Boy, oh boy, was he so upset with the Bears. I mean, he went off for 5 minutes just F-bombing him and saying, I'm fed up with this stuff. It was great radio.
Nagy has poisoned what other players want to do.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, I don't think you hear a lot of players going, I want to play for Matt Nagy. And that wasn't supposed to be the case the first year. But the club dub thing went overboard. Then they started losing. Then he started blaming people. And when you hear Darnell Mooney and Allen Robinson talk about Mitch in glowing terms, this is nothing but trouble spelled all over it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
People are really upset at the prospect of having to listen to a Matt Nagy press conference. Oh. Merv is saying, I don't want to hear his voice, his cliches.
I wonder if I could get a press pass for that, because I would just like to ask him.
Oh, yeah.
What did you do? Do you think you caused Mitch wanting to leave, or do you not want him back? And if not, why not? Why don't you want him back? He saved your job. Then I'd be thrown out.
Yes, you would. What was the question that you asked Pat Riley, then the coach of the Miami Heat?
And if Fred Flintstone ordered the Brontosaurus ribs and he knew it tipped over his car, then why'd he order them every day? No, that's the one I was supposed to ask him. The one I did ask him was if God came down tomorrow and told you shave that beautiful head of hair of yours and you'll win the title, would you do it?
That's right.
Then I thought I was watching after I asked that question and he answered it and stared me down like the tough Brooklyn guy he is. I was basically escorted out of the place like Paul Honreid was escorted out of Nick's restaurant in Casablanca by the German officers. Wasn't pretty. I'm surprised they didn't throw me out here. Like they do at the bars in the old days. But there were a lot of stairs at the Miami Arena. That was memorable.
Oh, what other controversial questions have you asked of sports figures over years in broadcasting?
Oh, besides me telling McCaskey, how stupid could you be? To get rid of Jay Hilgenberg, that one? Or me and Ozzy? God bless my man.
Oh my gosh. That was that was
classic. Screw you.
Oh my goodness. Great stuff.
Oh, I had battles with everybody. Trace Armstrong.
Oh, Trace Armstrong
lost the show one day and he says, you know what? I had a call. This was my one buddy. When we'd have a couple drinks, he'd always start laughing. He goes, I'm just thinking of what you told Trace Armstrong. I go, that was 7 years ago. And he goes, I just can't help it. Every time we drink it, I start thinking about it. Trace Armstrong said he was going to come to the studio and kick my ass. I said, that's okay. I'll hire a blocker. You'll never touch me. That was the end of that little discussion. Mark Carrier wanted to Mark Carrier not only wanted to kick, and I like Mark Carrier, but he didn't. He turned out like Eddie Jackson was last year. He had 10 interceptions. So I buried him all the time, and and Mark Carrier said, he called one day and he said, I'd like to get you behind a bowling alley and kick your ass. I go, does it have to be a bowling alley? Is that some sort of like, yeah, Mark. I didn't blame some of them. They were, so,
By the way, Trace Armstrong was 6'4", 276 pounds. A huge man.
Yeah, but he didn't get in much until he got with Oakland. Then Trace played good with Oakland.
Yeah,
played in Miami, was head of the Players Association. Good guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I told him, you'll never touch me if I get a block. I had Jigs next to me.
That's right.
I'll take care of it, Mike.
I love it. I love it. All right. It is time
Yes.
for.
This is the bear.
Oh, wrong music.
The plane's starting to waver. There we go.
Radio is scripted.
Oh,
now.
wrong one.
We just come up with it. We don't use computers. We don't.
I love it.
Let's do that.
You want me to just give the yeah? We don't need no damn music. Yes. We had 2 strikes down, and then Aldo hit one to the alley. He'll be on second base standing up. All right. This is simple.
This is simple.
Utah covers every game. They've covered like 19 out of their last 22 games.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing the Lakers tonight without Anthony Davis. Some guy named Kuzma is one of their best players now. He wears a headband, and we would have picked him last at Margate Park. But that's beside the point. LeBron has been hearing that his MVP is starting to slip away. So I believe LeBron James has been circling this Utah game.
Ooh.
Yes, I believe he's been circling this Utah game. I believe they've been hearing a lot of Donovan Mitchell talk. The Jazz have been on a roll. They're at Utah. It's -8.5. I'm sorry. I can't remember if Jordan ever got 8.5 points. But this guy's the best. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if he did, I would have taken him just like I am with LeBron James. I can't remember LeBron James ever getting 8.5. Let's see what he's made of. It worked out. Lakers are supposed to cover. I don't know if they're supposed to win, but they're supposed to cover. That's our Win Daily advantage, Mike North advantage, Bears Barroom advantage, pick of the day, ladies and gentlemen. The Lakers +8.5 with LeBron James. It sort of reminds me of a way of Tampa Bay, my Tampa Bay every week betting Tom Brady. They gave Tom Brady points. Let's see what LeBron James does when his team's not stacked. Michael had to play against the Celtics 1-on-5, and he scored 63 points. Okay? Let's see what this guy's got.
All right. Well, remember to follow Win Daily Sports on Twitter at Win Daily Sports. Go to their website, windailysports.com, and make sure you also follow Mike on Twitter. That's at North to North. He will engage with you. He will try.
I'll engage with you all you want. I'm an engaging man.
He is. And so he's got the Lakers plus the points tonight against the Utah Jazz. Great pick, Mike. I
will see what happens. I think most people probably are leaning Utah.
Mm-hmm.
They never lose.
They are.
And they're a good team. I like them. But I just think LeBron James will kick it up another level tonight. I do. So we'll see what happens. It really, in the last month, I've gotten points with Tom Brady and LeBron James. Pinch me. And I'm talking a lot of points. That tells you how bad LA is. I think they will play an inspired game tonight against Donovan Mitchell and that great team. And they are a great team. Quinn Snyder's done a tremendous job with them.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean they're bad if they lose or they don't cover tonight. It doesn't. I mean, Utah plays team bad. And Rudy Gobert, that's where they're going to get their butts kicked if I end up not covering this game at the center position because Anthony Davis isn't there. You know, so that's where you need him. Rudy Gobert. Can you imagine being Rudy Gobert landing at LA and them saying Anthony Davis isn't playing? You go out and you have a party. I mean, that's it. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see indeed what happens. Mike, so next week we will be back here. We'll see if there's free agency news. We'll get the latest picks. We haven't had a guest in a while. Maybe we'll have a surprise guest. Who knows? We
can have one.
Yeah, well,
I like us doing this.
I like it too.
Yes, that's fine. But I think we're guests every week. We're guests on the bar room.
That's right.
We did the guesting for a while. We'll see how it goes. But right now, I mean, we'll see what happens. Let's see. Mike and Eldo, can you guys pass the message to Ryan Pace to tell Nagy to delegate? Well, Bill Lazor. Well, there's that stuff that says that Bill Lazor got replaced at the end by Nagy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
trying to keep Mitch. Was that the way to do it? If that indeed happened, come on.
I think that Mitchell Trubisky would be open to coming back to the Chicago Bears if he was assured that Matt Nagy put away that Waffle House and doesn't call any more plays tonight. Elise Flick says Bulls Timberwolves line tonight. Any bet there?
Take the Bulls. So just go if you want to go to. I have no play on the game.
Yeah,
you just go, Jesus Christ, Mike.
I agree with Tooch there. The Bulls -3, I think, is a good bet for that game with the Timberwolves.
But it's only 3, and everybody's revolving. Just remember this: emotion takes over. Oh, Levine's an all-star, so we're expecting 40 points from him tonight. The Bulls would just kick everybody's ass, and the Timberwolves do suck. Yep. So we'll see what happens.
Yep. All right, that's our show for today. Make sure you join us again, the Mike North Advantage, every Wednesday, 9:30 Central. Mike, say goodbye to your fans.
So long, everybody. So long, Aldo.
Take care.